Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how to prepare a very quick breakfast snacks popularly known as egg roll. Delicious. I'll be using 250 grams of all-purpose flour, that is 1.5 cups. 8 eggs. I'll be needing 2 for mixing my dough and the rest 6 will be for boiling to get my hard-boiled eggs. 30 grams of butter. Milk. You can replace this with water, it is very optional. A pinch of salt. Vanilla sugar, this is very optional. Some baking powder and 30 grams of sugar. Boil your eggs for 15 minutes. When it's cooked, remove out its shell, rinse properly and pat to dry. And then we're just going to put this aside. So in this video, I would like to share with you how to measure ingredients without actually using the measuring scale. I need 250 grams of flour, so I'm placing my cup inside a clean bowl. Here is my flour and I'm going to pour that inside a cup. I'm going to do this very moderate. And while doing this, do not try to compress the cup, like shake it so you can have enough space to allow enough flour inside. Just leave the cup and allow the flour to rise up in its own amount. So now I'm going to pour that inside my bowl. And to complete my 250 grams, I'll be adding in another little amount of flour. Not very much. Just a little of this and I'm adding to the rest, and there I have got my 250 grams of flour. And that is equivalent to 1.5 cups. With a clean washed hands, allow some air into your flour by doing this. If you must know that your flour is like a living substance, it needs to accumulate some air before mixing with other ingredients for better absorption. With a teaspoon, we are going to be using this to take some baking powder. Just a little, and you won't be needing much. Just a little amount like this, and that's all we'll be needing. So now I'm just going to rub that into my flour. Gently like this. Just to allow mix well with the flour. So yeah, I'm adding in all dried ingredients. As you can see, I already added my nutmeg, half teaspoon of nutmeg and a pinch of salt. So with a tablespoon, as you can see, I'm adding in 30 grams of sugar. A tablespoon is 15 grams and I'll be needing 2 tablespoons to give me 30 grams of sugar. Some vanilla sugar to taste. I won't be needing much, just a little like this. Half tablespoon of vanilla sugar, and that's all I'll be needing. And like I said, your vanilla sugar is not compulsory, it's very optional. So now I'm just going to mix that in. I just finished adding in all my dried ingredients, so now I'm just going to rub that into the flour. So now it's time to incorporate in my butter. 30 grams of butter is all I need. How to measure this? Take your tablespoon, cut in your butter with this, and a tablespoon, like I said, is 15 grams. 15 plus 15 should give you 30 grams, so that means I need 2 tablespoons to give me my 30 grams of butter. So I believe by now my viewers must have learned how to measure with a teaspoon, tablespoon and a cup. This is very easy and practical without using the normal scale. With a clean hands, rub in those butter inside the flour and mix together for like a minute. After mixing, your flour should look like this texture, like breadcrumb. So in a clean bowl, I'm going to break in 2 eggs. And after breaking into the bowl with a fork, I'm just going to mix that together gently. Create a well and pour in those whisk eggs. And just rub that in together gently. So now I'm adding in some milk. Like I said, using a milk is very optional. You can either use a milk or you can use water, or rather you can do a mix of milk and water. And why I'm actually using milk instead of water is just to add some more richness to my dough. After mixing, I felt my dough was too light, so I'm adding in some flour to give it a more solid texture. After all said and done, your dough should have this texture. It should look like this texture. Not too hard, not too light, a kind of medium sticky texture. So cover and allow to relax for 5 to 15 minutes. In a clean table, dust in some flour because here we are going to be kneading our well-relaxed dough. You should knead very lightly so to avoid overworking on the dough. You should do this with tender. With my clean hands, I'm going to cut in a little portion. First of all, I'm going to dip in my hands into some flour to avoid the dough sticking up in my hands. So after dusting in my hands, I'm just going to cut a little portion and try to spread that a little. So now I'm adding in the hard-boiled egg, and now I'm going to wrap around the egg with the dough. Going to try and cover the egg using the dough like this to like get a well covered dough without seeing the egg. In a tray, I'm tapping in some flour to place in my dough and keep aside while I continue the process of rounding up my egg inside the dough. my hands into some flour to avoid the dough sticking up in my hands. So after dusting in my hands, I'm just going to cut a little portion and try to spread that a little. So now I'm adding in the hard-boiled egg, and now I'm going to wrap around the egg with the dough. Going to try and cover the egg using the dough like this, so you get a well covered dough without seeing the egg. In a tray, I'm tapping in some flour to place in my dough and keep aside while I continue the process of rounding up my egg inside the dough. So in a preheated oil, I'm adding in my egg dough. We are going to fry this on a medium heat. You should do deep fried to avoid the dough from getting burnt. The goal is to have a well-colored egg roll, brown and well cooked. And here it is, guys. Our egg roll is cooked and well colored and tastes delicious. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share your comments with us. Thank you.